In this video, my goal is to get better at drawing women. Now, why? Actually, the only reason is because I draw a lot of men, I draw a lot of dudes, I draw a lot of guys. That's because all my drawings, or all my recent drawings at least, have been based on how I feel in the moment and just a representation of how I feel in the drawing idea. And obviously, I don't represent myself as a woman, I represent myself as a man. So typically when I draw how I feel, it's a male character, which has caused me to not draw a lot of female characters. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever drawn a female face. I've only ever drawn their body, and usually you can't see their face, their head is turned or something. So that's a problem. In this video, we're gonna actually draw some woman, or a woman. And the plan is basically look at a reference, draw it, make some notes, then draw it again from memory, and then draw it again from memory and ink it. And I know doing this process once for this one woman won't magically help me draw them all, but it'll get me kind of on the right track and give me an idea of how to start. And if I keep repeating this process, who knows, maybe I'll get better at that. Actually, I do know I will get better at that. Alright, I'll leave the reference up in the corner so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. But this was my first drawing while looking at the reference. As you can see, I made a lot of notes and corrections with red marker. But basically first, I did my drawing with pencil, and then I came over with a red pen marker thingy and just kind of wrote my corrections. So basically what I noticed is I made the eyes seem too far apart. Now and if I'm drawing any person, this could be fine, but since I'm specifically drawing it from the reference, these eyes for the reference should be a little closer. I think the lips were okay. The nose, I think it could be a little longer and bigger. And then for the chin, I was trying to draw a little more curved of a chin, a little softer of a chin, not so harsh. And just kind of make sure the hair is more flowy rather than going outside her face circularly, more just flowing down. And I wanted to really make sure I had all these parts in check. So once I went over this drawing, I see what I could improve, and I've already given it a try. Then I'm going to try to do it for memory. So here for memory, you can see, I think at least, it does look a lot better. I think the eyes look nicer, they're closer together. I think I made them a little bigger, I can't remember exactly, but they are closer together. They look a little more detailed. I think the hair looks nice, it's flowing down, the jaw is a little more curved rather than jagged. And now I did have some corrections. I missed a few lines here, 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 and here. These are lines that just kind of outline the bone structure. I did also think I could do the lips a little smaller. I made them kind of wide this way and kind of thick this way. So overall, just shrinking them a little bit. I think the nose was pretty good. The outside of the hair maybe looks a little too fluffy. I'm not sure, maybe not. It's not the worst. Overall, not bad. This part of the jaw could be a little less wide, a little more sharp like this, rather than just curving out to the ear. It should be a little sharper, slightly sharper. Now it's time to kind of jump into the final drawing for memory that I'm gonna ink, and we'll see how that goes. So how I like to start drawing a face is just a little one middle line for the middle of the face, and then we'll do a line for where the eyes will be. I think they'll be about there. Maybe I'll do it a little lower in case, so we have more room for the top of the head, just in case. And then I don't like to do too many guidelines, because I feel more guidelines than this doesn't actually help me. It just kind of makes me confused on how the thing should actually look. So I have this. Now I'm just gonna figure out where the eyes are going. We're gonna do a little circles here. Maybe we'll make them like this big. Maybe not too big. We want to be able to fit the face in the actual frame. That looks a little too far apart, I'm not gonna lie. So let's actually erase that. And now I'm just gonna get the basic shape of the eye down. Okay, we got the eye shape, the basic eye shape down. Now I'm just gonna detail out the eyes a little more and then we'll move on to the nose. But we're just gonna keep going maybe. Nah, we're not gonna keep going. What's wrong with these? They don't look like wide enough this way. I'm just gonna stick with this. Do they still look off to me? Yes, but at this point, I don't think they will ever not look off to me. So we're gonna move on to the nose. And the nose, the inner, I don't know what it's called, the inner eye socket bone kind of stops before this part of the eye, the part that points out a little bit. So for the nose, we're gonna make a little curved line like this, and then we're gonna bring a line almost straight, slightly curved or tilted to the left from our perspective, I guess to the right for her. And let's see, where might this be good enough? I think about here is looking good. We'll do it like this. This definitely is gonna be off, but we'll keep going. Lips time, and I'm sure a lot of other people have this feeling too, but while I'm drawing it, while I draw basically anything, you just kind of have to trust yourself that it's not gonna be too bad. Because admittedly, to me this looks like shit right now, but I know it won't look like the worst shit I've ever drawn. So we're gonna keep going with it. Okay, we'll stick with this for now. Do I still think it looks off? Obviously. I don't think I'll ever be happy with something I draw while I'm drawing it. And now, let's see if we can get the face outline. We know there's gonna be a hair. The hair comes across the side of the face. About here, maybe strands about here. Now I'm gonna see if I can just get a quick jaw outline from the strand to strand of hair and figure out where the ear is gonna go. Once I get the ear, the rest of the hair shouldn't be too bad to figure out. And this is, I think, where the ear should be. Starts a little bit below the nose, so maybe here. Now that I've drawn the full thing, I think the problem for me is the eyes. They look too small on the face. I'm gonna redo the eyes and make those bigger. This is what I call the stand method. You know, it gives me a more fucking aerial view of this shit. I'm looking. Yeah, it still looks pretty bad, but I feel like I've gotten everything in. So I think I'm just gonna move ahead and ink it, even though it does look like shit to me. And yeah. Okay, so while the inking is going, why do I think this method works? I think this is a good method because when you draw something over and over again, specifically focusing on what went wrong, what went right, making the corrections with a red marker, a different color pen to get it more in your brain on what went wrong, then redrawing it, including those corrections, it kind of builds a foundation in your memory on how things should look and the different features you should be watching out for when drawing. In this specific case, it was for a woman, so this mainly helped me start thinking about the features that differentiate a male face from a woman face when I'm drawing it. And overall, it just, as I mentioned before, it keeps me conscious about the lines I'm making and the outcome. Now the drawing is about to be done, so let's slide right into the post-drawing talk. Alright, drawing done. Is the goal complete? Does this look like a woman? Yes, it does. Does it look like the reference? No, but it was from memory, so I'm not too mad about that. What do I think I could do better? I can't tell if the nose looks too long or if this, I think this part down here should be wider. I don't know actually. I do think the eyes should be maybe a little more less rounded down in the bottom parts, more just straight than rounded up. And then these upper parts can come and just meet it normally, so the eyes could be a little better. My main problem was the hair. I don't know. At first I tried with a nib pen to get lines. Those looked way too thin for this picture. I would have had to do like a billion strands. So I went on with this brush ink pen. My problem here was I couldn't get a curved line at the same thickness or like consistent thickness. It kept varying. Like if you look at this strand, shit looks pretty crazy. This shit looks pretty bad. So I think I just need to get better at doing long strokes smoothly, and I need to get better at using a brush for hair. Other than that, so it does look like a woman, so we can celebrate there. Not too bad for the first real drawing of a woman's face I've done. So, you know, we'll take the win for this. First woman's face done successfully. Could it look better? Yes. I mean, the reference is infinitely better, but that makes sense. That was drawn by Dr. Vagabond himself. So, happy with the first step. Gonna do a lot more of these. Am I gonna film them or do them on my own? We'll see. This is where we'll end off for now. Not bad, not great.